Well, welcome back to Reading the Bible Together. We're glad you're here. Pastor Matt and I are super glad to be reading the Bible with you. And we're on chapter 9 of Matthew.
I'm excited. Jesus is going to start by doing some healing, and then we're going to have a call to discipleship. So, getting into a boat, Jesus crossed over and came to his own city. And behold, some people brought him a paralytic lying on a bed. And when Jesus saw their faith, he said to the paralytic, "Take heart, my son, your sins are forgiven." But behold, some of the scribes said to themselves, "This man is blaspheming." But Jesus, knowing their thoughts, said, "Why do you think evil in your hearts? For which is easier to say, 'Your sins are forgiven,' or to say, 'Rise and walk'? But so that you may know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins," he then said to the paralytic, "Rise, pick up your bed, and go home." And he rose and went home. And when the crowd saw it, they were afraid, and they glorified God, who had given such authority to men. And as Jesus passed on from there, he saw a man called Matthew sitting in the tax booth. And he said to him, "Follow me." And he rose and followed him. And as Jesus reclined at a table in the house, behold, many tax collectors and sinners came and were reclining with Jesus and his disciples. And when the Pharisees saw this, they said to his disciples, "Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?" But when Jesus heard it, he said, "Those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick. Go and learn what this means. I desire mercy, not sacrifice, for I came not to call the righteous, but sinners."
Then John's disciples came and asked him, "How is it that we and the Pharisees fast, but your disciples do not fast?" Jesus answered, "How can the guests of the bridegroom mourn while he is with them? The time will come when the bridegroom will be taken from them, and then they will fast. No one sews a patch of unshrunk cloth on the old garment, for the patch will pull away from the garment, making the tear worse. Neither do men pour new wine into old wineskins. If they do, the skins will burst, and the wine will run out, and the wineskins will be ruined. No, they pour new wine into new wineskins, and both are preserved." While he was saying this, a ruler came and knelt before him and said, "My daughter has just died, but come and put your hand on her, and she will live." Jesus got up and went with him, and so did the disciples. Just then, a woman who had been subjected to bleeding for 12 years came behind him and touched the edge of his cloak. She said to herself, "If I only touch his cloak, I will be healed." Jesus turned and saw her. "Take heart, daughter," he said. "Your faith has healed you." And the woman was healed from that moment. And when Jesus entered the ruler's house and saw the flute players and the noisy crowd, he said, "Go away, the girl is not dead, but asleep." But they laughed at him, and after the crowd had been put outside, he went in and took the girl by the hand, and she got up. News of this spread throughout all the region.
And as Jesus passed on from there, two blind men followed him, crying aloud, "Have mercy on us, Son of David." And when he entered the house, the blind men came to him, and Jesus said to them, "Do you believe that I am able to do this?" They said to him, "Yes, Lord." Then he touched their eyes, saying, "According to your faith, be it done to you." And their eyes were opened. And Jesus sternly warned them, "See to it that no one knows about this." But they went away and spread his fame throughout all of that district. And as they were going away, behold, a demon-oppressed man who was mute was brought to him. And when the demon had been cast out, the mute man spoke, and the crowds marveled, saying, "Never was there anything like this seen in Israel." But the Pharisees said, "He casts out demons by the prince of demons." But Jesus went throughout all the cities and the villages, teaching in their synagogues and proclaiming the gospel of the kingdom, and healing every disease and every affliction. And when he saw the crowds, he had compassion on them, because they were harassed and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, "The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore, pray earnestly to the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest." Oh man, Autumn, there's a lot going on today. What's sticking out to you in chapter 9?
Well, I just, again, the power of God, right?
Yeah.
The power of God to heal. And, to be honest with you, when I read, take heart, your daughter, your faith has healed you. When I was sick,
Yeah.
that was one that was hard for me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, God, do I have enough faith?
Right.
And I looped on that. I'd ask Joe, Pastor Joe, my husband, and he would be like, oh, Autumn, that he saw the spiritual battle that I was in, not just the physical battle, right? And when I studied that and really had to dig in, what I realized is it was not faith in her faith. It was faith in her God that she had. And so even now, what he's saying is you had faith to come to me, Jesus, for that healing. And that the healing was he was present with her in that moment. And not that God doesn't, I believe he's healed me many times and will continue till I go to heaven. Probably is healing us regularly every day because we live in this broken world, gives breath to our lungs. But for me, just trusting God that he is my healer, and even if I'm not healed this side of heaven, I will be healed in heaven. And
Absolutely.
he is where healing is found.
That's so true. And that's like what stands out in the chapter. And that kind of deep meaning you've kind of blended in, right? Like there's hope for us even in the midst of our battles, even in the midst of our illnesses, because we have one who, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, is in the fire with us. Right, even though we're in the midst of pain and circumstance, like we're never alone.
Absolutely.
He's Emmanuel. Autumn, what meaning do you find there in the midst of these moments where God is with you and He invites you to come to Him? What are you finding?
I feel like not to lose heart.
Yeah.
Not to lose heart and to continue to look for what he's doing in the midst of the circumstances and to know he's a giver of good gifts.
Oh, for sure.
Not the bad gifts that we get here. We live in a broken world.
Yeah.
And he says you will encounter much trouble, but he's overcome the world. So he's our overcomer and he's the one that's going to help us overcome.
For sure. For sure. And so having read Matthew chapter 9, what are you going to do today?
Take heart, like he said to the daughter.
Yeah.
Take heart and be encouraged that I get to have a relationship with Jesus. That's my biggest need that I have above healing.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. What about you? We'd love to hear from you, what you see in the text, what's going on, what does it mean for you as you're reading the Bible together, and what are you going to do today? Let us know in the comments below or by sending us an email. But for Autumn, I'm Pastor Matt. Thanks for joining us.